Good evening, everyone. Are you all there? All right. So be with me for another 7 minutes. I put a timer so that I don't exceed the time. A very quick introduction. Thank you so much, and a great honor to be around an amazing set of people. I'll also share a story, and I do resonate in a lot of interesting points and key words that people did use: cycling, marathons, shooting. A lot of words to do with the adventure side of life, but also the entrepreneurship side of life. Very quick, brief, beyond what is told. Maybe it's something which is very catchy to start off with as an icebreaker. I was a fighter pilot in the Indian Air Force. I used to fly Jaguar aircrafts. I think now I got some attention. I started flying in the school time, right from 8th standard. Been in the flying. Another interesting thing happened. I got my flying license before my driving license. So that's another way I started my life. So just about a few days back, we celebrated the Republic Day parade, and it always resonates, and it's a very nostalgic thing coming from the armed forces. I did parade three times, one in school, one in college, one in the armed forces, Air Force time, and was awarded then by the Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this part of the story of my life is that's where I think I started feeling the attitude of entrepreneurship. I think there's an amazing thing shared by the people, and of course, some of you who have started something. More important is your orientation, your attitude, the focus of why are you doing what you're doing. Is attitude very critical? Yeah, I'm sure it is. How do you build that attitude? I think it's your way of growing up and the environments that you go through, the kind of cultural, educational backgrounds, and the kind of people that you interact. I think this forum, is creating that kind of an opportunity to look at attitudes of people and what makes them what they are. And probably you can reshape or retune yourself to get there to be a little more better than what you were. Now, another important journey happened in the recent past. Of course, I did fly Jaguar aircraft. So my first vision was to go beyond the speed of sound, which means anybody, I'm sure some of you are engineering students. So what is the speed of sound? The time it takes from my mouth to your ears. 340 meters per second. So it's also called the easy number to say 1 Mach, right? So going beyond the speed of sound is not that easy, and humanly not that easy to achieve unless you do two things. One is you can fly a fighter aircraft, or you be an astronaut. So that's the two current opportunities. And of course, you had an opportunity a little earlier to fly Concorde. Maybe as a passenger, you could have crossed that barrier as well. But as of now, it's still not available. So, but as such, flying beyond the speed of sound was the start point. And I was part of the 99 Kargil ceasefire. I was posted in Siachen. Some of you know about Siachen? Yes? So what is it known for? It's one of the most toughest and the highest battlefield, right? So, and it's also a very pride place for India as well. So my last posting as a fighter pilot was in Siachen, and that's where I had a crash land, compressed my spine. That's the time I moved on from the armed forces, took a medical out, came back to Bangalore, which is my native. And that's the time I started my second life, which is starting in the corporate life. So I moved on thanks to the training in the armed forces. You don't really need to start off way below in the hierarchy of organizations. So directly joined the management of Citibank in India. Moved on to the US for managing some transitions and things like that. So between 2000 and 2011, spent an amount of interesting learning processes. Moved up very fast in the organization sphere. Now, that's another space where I really understood. Now, I connect back to my life vision when I said I wanted to go beyond the speed of sound, which I achieved when I was 20 and a half. By then, I upgraded my vision to say that I want to be the Air Chief Marshal in the Indian Air Force. Now, it's not that easy to be the Air Chief Marshal, right? So, and it is top of the pyramid, and you report to the president of the country. And it is not an easy job to achieve, and thanks to the Air Force, only fighter pilots can be the Air Chief Marshal. So I said, let that be the next immediate goal of my life, and that's how I started working on. And that's a place where I had this crossroad of this accident, and where I had to take a movement off and say that, you know what, now let me restart and rethink. And I'm sure there is something bigger than what you normally think, and that is something which started looking at. Now, can I draw a parallel in saying that, okay, why not as parallel as a Air Chief Marshal in the Indian Air Force, something in the corporate life. I'm sure some of the great CXOs of organizations who do take decisions which has an impact to multi-billion dollars, lakhs of people, great economical impact. I think those are also, it's not as similar to the Air Chief Marshal, but yes, there is a parallel that I could draw, and that's where I started looking at, can I make that journey and be understanding what really takes that CXO to be where he or she is. And that's where I started looking. And now I did a lot of interviews with people who have already been there. I thought they actually can share what they are. And I learned about 5 very important things as a CXO that they shared. And I thought that really is key for me to add on, which needed an upgradation. So these are some of the important things that I learned in terms of extraordinary with people. You should be able to talk to anyone across the lines of hierarchies and cultures, and language shouldn't be a barrier for communication. So thanks to you, you're working on that barrier breaking of communication and language. But I think it's extremely important to connect with anybody and everybody as a people skill. Second, be extraordinary with your numbers and financials. The ability for you to think on the go, your database decision support, and making very, very quick decisions. You don't need a calculator, nor a Excel, nor a investment banking support. But you should be able to take that decision. Big support, yes, you need that. But can you think and act very fast with data and financially sound decisions? The third important data point I learned really is to have extraordinary financial skills. That means you should be able to question your CA or your CFO and say, for my business is not impacting, or maybe something that is not shared in your P&L and balance sheet is not really making sense. So can that be acquired as a skill? Can that be? The fourth important thing is extremely strong global culture. What's a global culture? Have a global overview, but still be local. Have that connection to the local, what is really needed in that space, but still be broad in terms of understanding the global. Now, the other important thing that I learned over a period added on is you have your niche. You can't be master of all, but have something which is at least few masteries of some skills that you have. Now, the recent 4 years of my life, I now currently run about 4 organizations, been an entrepreneur from 2011 onwards, been in investment, in multiple scales as a seed funder, but also run very, very known social venture in the recent space called PotHoleRaja. I don't know how many of you have heard about it, but it's been a fairly recognized volunteering, employee engagement, citizen participation movement, I would say, where I'm actually looking at engaging people. I'm sure all of you have, it just says my time is up, so let me just do a very quick, time up, very quick note on PotHoleRaja, because it's a connection to the social entrepreneurship that I'm in the interest of the topic. Now, all of you encounter potholes on the roads? Anybody who's not encountered a pothole? Please tell me. And I'm sure we have hundreds of people who have broken their backs and bones, who have fallen off your 2-wheelers and 4-wheelers, back-breaking exercises. I'm sure thousands of people die. Last year Supreme Court gave an interesting number. Sadly, it's not interesting, but it is 800 people died out of terror attacks in India, but 4,500 people died out of pothole accidents. It's very, very dangerous. What we do specifically in the space of PotHoleRaja, we engage citizens and employees and organizations, the students, report potholes on their own, come up, we raise funds, thanks to a lot of CSR from organizations where they probably contribute not only from the money, but also the time and effort from the volunteers and employees. They come, fix potholes. Just opposite your college, we fixed around 200 potholes in the last 2 months. There are some lot more. We just covered, I think, 1% of your roads around. So like this, what we have been doing in the last 3 years, we have, I think, closed about 5,000 potholes in just Bangalore. Been present in about 6 cities in India. Worked with about 25 large organizations from their CSR contribution. I think for about 15,000 plus volunteering hours only to fix potholes. I think there are so many other varieties of employee engagement, but I think this is another interesting way, because they feel that I did something and I'm probably not going to fall off, and tomorrow I can reach back home or reach office back home. So that's a space of social entrepreneurship. I think it's important for each of us to connect back our life, our stories, and make a difference to the society. And I think the opportunity for the students, and of course, age is never a bar, so you can start anytime, anywhere. I think the message is very important to take off, saying that the attitude, the orientation, the vision, and the purpose is very, very important to be an entrepreneur, and I think you can all make a difference. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm sure there's a lot more to learn. Thank you.